I caught my cheating wife at a party. What I saw shattered everything I thought I knew about love. The night began like any other celebration. Laughter spilling from open windows, the scent of food and wine thick in the air, the kind of warm chaos that made people forget their troubles for a few hours. I wasn't supposed to arrive late, but work had run long, and by the time I parked my car outside the host's house, the party was already in full swing. I remember thinking how nice it was that my wife, Claire, had gone ahead to help set things up. She'd always loved hosting. Always the bright one in the room, the kind of woman who could make a stranger feel like an old friend. As I walked up the steps, I could hear the familiar rise and fall of music, laughter, and chatter, the comforting sounds of people enjoying themselves. I smiled, eager to see her. But I didn't know that smile would be the last one I'd wear that night. Inside, the lights were low, candles flickering across tables draped in soft linen. Friends greeted me warmly, claps on the back, quick hugs, half-drunken jokes. Everyone seemed carefree, but something felt off. Claire wasn't there to greet me. She was always the first to appear, to link her arm in mine, to light up when she saw me. Tonight, there was only absence. I brushed it off at first, assuming she was helping in the kitchen or talking with someone outside. But as the minutes ticked by, unease began to creep in, quiet but persistent. Then, a woman I didn't know, a guest I must have missed in introductions, approached me. Her expression didn't fit the party's mood. She looked uneasy, her eyes darting toward the staircase before settling back on me. "Are you Claire's husband?" she asked softly. "Yes," I said, caught off guard. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "You might want to check upstairs." Something in the way she said it froze me. Not her words, but the weight behind them. The weight behind them. The kind of heaviness that comes only from pity. Without another word, I turned toward the stairs. Each step felt heavier than the last. The laughter below faded, replaced by the pounding in my chest. I didn't know what I was walking into, but a small voice in the back of my mind already did. At the top of the stairs, the hallway was dim and quiet. I hesitated outside one of the rooms, hearing faint murmurs, the unmistakable rhythm of low voices too close together. My hand trembled as I turned the knob. The door opened slowly, soundlessly, and there they were. Claire, my wife, the woman I'd built my world around. And another man. They weren't doing anything obvious, just standing close, whispering, her hand brushing his arm, but the intimacy was undeniable. It wasn't the physical closeness that destroyed me. It was the look in her eyes, soft, familiar, the same look she once gave me. In that instant, something inside me cracked, and everything I thought I knew about love, trust, and loyalty came crashing down. Neither of them noticed me at first. When they did, the silence was like a gunshot. Claire's face went pale, her lips parted, but no words came. The man stepped back quickly, guilt written all over him. "Jake," she began, but I didn't let her finish. I turned around and walked out. The laughter downstairs hit me like an insult. Everyone still smiling, still drinking, still blissfully unaware that my world had just imploded. I pushed through the crowd, ignoring the curious looks, and stepped outside into the cold night. The air burned my lungs. I stood on the porch for what felt like forever, trying to steady myself, but the betrayal kept replaying in my mind. Her eyes, her voice, her hand on someone else's arm. I didn't yell, I didn't cry, I just left. The drive home was a blur of streetlights and silence. My hands gripped the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. When I finally walked through the front door of our house, everything felt wrong. The framed photos, the faint scent of her perfume, the soft hum of the refrigerator, all of it mocking me. I sat in the dark living room, staring at nothing, trying to make sense of what I'd seen. Part of me wanted to deny it, to believe there was an explanation that would make it all less devastating, but deep down, I knew there wasn't. When Claire came home hours later, I didn't look up. She stood in the doorway, her voice trembling. "Jake, please, can we talk?" I didn't answer. I just kept staring ahead. After a long silence, she whispered, "It's not what you think." I laughed, not out of humor, but disbelief. "Then what is it, Claire? Because it looked exactly like what I think." She tried to explain, her words tripping over themselves, that she'd been drinking, that it was a stupid mistake, that it meant nothing. But I could hear the lies before they left her lips. I stood, finally meeting her gaze. "You looked at him the way you used to look at me," I said quietly. "That's what kills me. It's not about what you did, it's about what it meant." Tears welled in her eyes, but I couldn't find it in me to comfort her. The trust between us, the foundation of our life, had been ripped apart. I walked past her and went upstairs. For the first time in years, I slept in the guest room. The days that followed blurred together. We barely spoke. When we did, the words were hollow, tired echoes of a marriage already over. Claire tried everything. Notes on the counter, long text messages, promises that she'd change, that it was a mistake she'd regret forever. But nothing could undo what I'd seen. The image of her with him became a ghost that haunted every corner of the house. The kitchen, where we'd once shared morning coffee, now felt like a stranger's place. The bed, our bed, felt contaminated by memory. One morning, she begged me to talk. "Please, Jake," she said, her voice breaking. "I know I hurt you, but I can't lose you. I'll do anything. I'll go to counseling. I'll move out for a while. I cut her off. "You already lost me, Claire. You just don't want to admit it." Her face crumpled. For a moment, I thought I'd feel something. Anger, pity, love. But all I felt was emptiness. That was when I realized the truth. Love doesn't die in one moment. It erodes, piece by piece, until all that's left is exhaustion. Weeks turned into months. Claire eventually moved out. The silence she left behind was deafening, but it was also clean. No lies, no apologies, no pretending. At first, I drifted through my days, surviving on autopilot. Work, sleep, repeat. Friends tried to reach out, but I brushed them off. I wasn't ready to talk about it. I wasn't ready to feel. Then, slowly, the numbness began to fade. One morning, I looked in the mirror and barely recognized the man staring back. The dark circles, the tired eyes. But beneath them, something stronger was forming. A quiet resilience. For the first time, I understood that healing isn't about forgetting what happened. It's about reclaiming yourself from the wreckage. I started running again, something I hadn't done since college. At first, the runs were short, clumsy, exhausting, but each mile I pushed through felt like taking back a small piece of myself. One evening, as the sun dipped low and the sky turned to gold, I stopped on a hill overlooking the city. The air was cool, crisp, alive. I breathed deeply and, for the first time in a long while, felt something close to peace. Claire had reached out a few times after the divorce, messages that went unanswered. I didn't hate her anymore. I didn't wish her pain. I simply didn't have anything left to give her. The love I once had for her had become something else, a memory of who I used to be. Months later, I found myself at another party. Smaller, quieter. I almost didn't go, but a friend convinced me. There was laughter, music, and conversation, all the things that once reminded me of that terrible night. But this time, I wasn't weighed down by it. As I stood on the porch, looking out into the soft glow of evening lights, I realized something. Life doesn't stop because your heart breaks. It bends, it bruises, but it keeps moving. I whispered to myself, I caught my wife cheating, and it broke me, but it didn't end me. For the first time, those words didn't hurt to say. They felt like a beginning,